Hello everybody and welcome to my guide on how to use Mouselook in Necro. It's also, I call it first person view. My name is Alestair and we'll be going over a few things with you guys real quick to get you started. First though, we're going to talk about the pros and cons. So let's get right into that. Pros, you can literally run circles around your opponent while keeping your camera and Avi locked on them. This is very helpful for me, because that's just how I like to play. I like to run circles around people. And yeah. Anyways, moving on, you do not have to worry about your mouse moving off the attack button. This is something I always had a problem with in third person running around. I would just glide my mouse off the attack button, which is really annoying to me. So I'm glad, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You don't really need to hold shift to strafe anymore either. This is another pro. You can just move around with your WASD keys while looking at your target, and I will demonstrate this all later in the video, of course. Being in Mouselook also increases your FPS because you don't have to render your complex avatar as long as you don't have Show Avatar Mouselook selected in the preferences. It's just helpful because that's an increase in frames, and more frames means a smoother running experience for SL, which means you'll be able to lag less. Anyways, we're going to be moving on to the cons next. The first con here is you must leave the Mouselook to retarget someone and use your cards. That's fairly obvious, and once you get into Mouselook, you will see you can't really move your mouse, like I said before. Also, your view is severely limited. You cannot see much behind you or to your sides. That's okay with me. Usually when I'm moving around, I kind of just look back every now and then. No big deal. Real quick, just take a quick peek. Also, there is motion sickness. I've had a few people tell me when they're trying Mouselook that they get motion sick. Your health bar in real life is more important than the one in Necro, so please be careful of that as well, right? Take care of yourself. If you find yourself getting motion sick, just take a moment, step back, take a break, and, come back to it later. Anyways, moving on. Moving on to Mouselook Prep. Now, what you're going to want to keep in mind is that I do use Firestorm to play on SL. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to move on to Preferences. And so get that up. Move in View and Mouselook. Now the things you're going to want to change here, obviously the first thing is enable Mouselook functionality. Turn that on. You need it to do everything in Mouselook, right? So definitely do that. Now the next part is show avatar in Mouselook. I usually keep this disabled because the less things your viewer needs to render, the better. And then we have a show user interface in Mouselook. Without this enabled, there is a slight delay, a very tiny delay in the transition from going to third person to Mouselook, and you'll notice that if you do it. I don't like it, especially during a fight, so I turn that on so the UI stays. I think it's because the UI needs to disappear, like it needs like a split second to disappear, which causes that lag. So that's up to you, really. The next part here is leave Mouselook using the scroll wheel. You're going to want to keep this on. It is faster and easier than pressing M on your keyboard. At least for me it is. I'd much rather use my mouse wheel than reach over and press M and stop moving in the middle of battle. So yes, definitely it is more your preference, but for me it's way easier. And then the next part is show Mouselook crosshair. And this is mostly just to help you position the HUD more easily on your screen. You don't actually need that enabled to click and attack, so that's more for you and your preference. Then after that is enable combat features. This allows you to see the range of a target when looking directly at them. People are moving around a lot in Necro, so this doesn't help too much unless you're like running directly behind them, which I do a lot, so that definitely helps me out. And yes, that is it for that, and we're going to be moving on to the next part in the video. In this next part of the video, I want to really quickly just go over positioning and attacking with your HUD. Now you can see here, it's fairly simple. Just go into edit mode, drag it along using the arrows, the edit arrows, and just get it to where you need to go. And of course, I save my position, you know, in a little note card and just paste it when I need to in case I accidentally click the minimize, because it will reset the position of your HUD. And now I want to go over something very important. If you cannot swing your weapon in a mouse look even when pressing and spamming that button, that is because there's something preventing you from clicking while in a mouse look, which happens. I had elf ears that did that prevented me from clicking a mouse look. Even there are a few HUDs that prevent you from clicking a mouse look, and a few other items like spankers I had that would prevent me from clicking a mouse look. It could literally be anything. So just strip, take things off one at a time, and figure that out. And now for the fun part. I'm going to show you guys what it's like to run circles around your opponent, like I was saying, while in mouse look. Keep in mind, not everyone's just going to, you know, stand around and let you hit them, of course, right? So we're going to go into Witchy Jade here, and we're going to beat her up a little bit. We'll just use her as a reference, I guess. So obviously when someone is just there, they can, you know, move around and fight back. And you can literally keep tracking your opponent in mouse look. It is nice, especially if he started, for example, if Rax started running to the right over there. I could literally just stay like this and strafe left and right, keeping in this direction and continue hitting him. And if they move around, of course, I can change my view too. Which is difficult if you're, you know, doing it like this, because, you know, your angle, and then if all of a sudden they change direction, like go behind you, it'll be hard to like turn. And you can always just grab your person and turn that way too, but for me it's easier in mouse look, always easier, because I don't have to grab anything. And I don't need to hold shift to strafe, which is nice. One of the pros, honestly. But yeah, that's also it for this part of the video. We're going to move on to the next. And yeah. Alrighty, in this part of the video I'm going to show you guys exactly what I was just talking about, but we're going to make Jade do stuff now. So, Jade, why don't you just start running? You know, just do it. Yeah, go. Alright, so you can see, and as you can see, I am keeping up with her, looking at her. I'm not hitting her, of course, but I definitely could be doing that and getting a few hits in. And you can just keep up with somebody, especially if she changes direction. As you can see, I'm still on top of her, and she is within range of my attacks. Just keep running, Jay, just keep running. And, you know, I can, you know, easily catch up to her if she tries to turn. Get a little bit of a, you know, head start there. Turn tighter than other people, and you will catch up to them, as you can see here. So that is perfect. Thank you, Jade. Anyways, that is it for this part of the video, and we shall be moving on to the next. Alrighty, in this next part, I'm going to show you how it is to chase somebody who isn't really running as smooth as Jade was before. She'll be changing directions quite quickly and randomly, and I will try my best to keep up with her, and, you know, be hitting her, of course. Just a little bit. And, yeah, so Jade, whenever you're ready, just go. So obviously I can keep up with her a little bit, and she can just change directions. And as you can see, I'm trying my hardest using not only my mouse, but also my movement keys. Of course, as you can see, if she goes behind me, it's really difficult, but I can still hit her from time to time. So it's not that bad. Of course, jumping helps sometimes if you're getting stuck at objects, right? And she just jumped right into my sword there. Good job, Jade. So yeah, it's very easy to track people when they're jumping too. You just kind of look up, and that's it. I'm done. You don't have to worry. But yeah, that's it for this part of the video. As you can see, things are a little bit easier to track in the first person. It can be difficult because things are moving around a lot like this, and it could get, you know, kind of sickening to some people. It doesn't for me because I guess I've been playing video games long enough. I just don't have that motion sickness issue. But if you do, please be careful, of course. Do not overdo it. Take breaks if you need to. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know in World, and I will try my best. Until then, take care, and thank you for watching.